Good afternoon, class. Welcome to this session of modern organization and management. In our yesterday's session, we were discussing regarding the organization structure and how is it relevant according to the classical theory and how is it related to the modern organization structures. In our today's class, let us try to discuss the different types of organization structure which are normally being adopted. Now, speaking about departmentation in simple words, now it is a task of dividing the large organization, or in other words, we can say it is the task of dividing the entire organization into smaller units which are flexible in nature and which can be called as a administrative unit. Now, this departmentation is an organization wide division of work wherein you divide the works of the organization into different manageable units or departments. Now, usually it refers to horizontal differentiation in an organization. So, if we are speaking about this differentiation and departmentation, what are these two? Now, speaking of differentiation, it is nothing but the degree of difference which exists between the different units that are present in an organization. Now, these differences that each of the unit shall have because of the activities they are doing, or in other words, these differences arise due to their structural and behavioral characteristics. And departmentation, as we discussed earlier, it is nothing but it is a process of dividing large organization into smaller flexible administrative units. Now, in other words, it is nothing but grouping of activities, and remember, it is not only activities, even the employees into different departments. So, it is a method of arranging all the activities so that there shall be accomplishment of organizational goal. Now, it is said that departmentation is necessary as it involves grouping of both people and also activities into single department or unit to achieve the goals. Now, the main reasons why departmentation is essential is that first one, it brings the advantage of specialization in the organization. The second one is for the employees or the personnel who are in the organization, it will allow them to know the particular part which is expected to be played by them in the company. Not only that, departmentation also facilitates communication, coordination, and control to the overall success of the organization. Now, departmentation also provides a very good platform around which the loyalties of the organization's members could be built. Now, departmentation also enables a manager to find the source of information or the skills that are necessary and even competitions to take some of the important managerial decisions in the organization. So, this in brief is what is meant by departmentation. Nothing but the entire organization we shall be dividing into smaller, manageable, and flexible units so that whatever activities are there which are similar of nature shall be put into the same units and thereby facilitates organization in achieving the goals. Now there are a lot of different types of organization if we go through. Uh, we shall see one by one. Some of the types of departmentation they are being followed since the beginning of the industries. Some of them are very new. Now what I would like to tell you is that those department structures which were being used earlier, the information regarding all such you would be able to get through textbooks, but very recent ones you may not be able to get it through textbooks, but then you'll have to refer the internet source for further knowledge regarding the new types of organizations which are being adopted in the modern business organizations. Having said that, first one is departmentation by function. So, as the name suggests here, the entire business shall be, divided on the basis of what function they are expected to do. Now, as the picture that you can see, it shall be a horizontal departmentation where you shall have a general manager and below to his level of organization there shall be production department, sales department and finance department. Now, the basic aim of functionalization or departmentation by function is to simplify the complexity of the organization by grouping all the work to be done into major departmental functions. Now, this particular type of departmentation is most widely used as it is very simple in nature, it is logical and it is a common sense appeal. Now, under departmentation by function, the activities shall be grouped together by common function. Now, this can be commonly described as organizing work into related bundles of skill. Now, each of the functional unit that you can see shall be having dissimilar set of duties and responsibilities. Now, if you take into consideration your own Mangalore University, then functional structure would mean a set of departments like maybe management, commerce, economics, statistics, etc. Now, and they, that is how similar and related occupational specialties shall be grouped together in a business organization. Now, this functional structure it also tries to incorporate the positive aspects of specialization. Now, without considering the practical aspect, if we speak theoretically, under such a structure, the management tries to create the most efficient department by having identifiable departments of specialists. Now, what has been given in your PPT is the most simplified functional form of organizational design. Now, it is simple also because it in particular does not show all the functions which are commonly found in a very large organization. Having said that, let us see the features of functional structure. The first one is it brings specialization by function. Now, because it orients people towards one special activity. Now, thereby it helps to concentrate competence in one particular direction. That's how departmentation by function can bring specialization. And the second one is rather than the company's main aim, here sub goals would be given emphasis. Now, it compels all the departmental heads to concentrate on the subunit goals. Now, departmental heads shall always be judged based on how well they meet the standards and how well they can achieve target. And that is how there shall be subunit goal emphasis. Next one is that growth is always pyramidal in nature. Now, growth in the functional structure, it is a process of horizontal and vertical elaboration. That is to tell, if the organization by any chance adds a new product to the existing product line, then the added portion and departments shall also be made a part of the existing functional structure. Now, each function grows by adding layers to the basic pyramid that the company has, and of the span of supervision and also number of levels reporting to each manager who are under functional pyramid. So, this is that particular explanation of growth is always pyramid in nature, where if at all there is any addition, then it shall be also included in the current structure. The next one is line staff division. So, before that, what is this? We'll have to understand what is line function and what is staff function. Now, speaking about line function, here under it tells that position in an organization shall be considered with its major workflow, like maybe goods or services what it produces. And staff function refers to all the positions that are there within an organization and which are not directly concerned with the major workflow, but it always offers expertise and advertise to various line managers. So, regarding line staff division, here there shall be a clear distinction or differentiation between the line activities and the staff activities in the organization. Now, functional organization can be said as a modified form of line structure and staff structure. Now, line functions have direct responsibility for achieving the basic purpose of the organization, and staff function in an organization will always play a supportive role or staff advisor for the organization. The next one is functional relationship. Now, functional relationship, it subjects managers to multiple supervision. Now, the process of departmentation can take place with all the three types of authority, that is the line authority, staff authority and functional authority. Now, what the fact is that functional authority is subordinate to line authority, and it is also a way of relating the specialist or the line works to the work in the organization. Okay. The next one is centralization and decentralization. Now, here under functional department, there shall be one man who heads all of one kind of work. Now, in a functional organization, authority shall always be centralized, not always, but to a greater extent, it shall be centralized, and as a result, coordination within function is very much simplified. Then, regarding the span of control. Now, the span of management shall be limited in functional structure, and as a result, the structure tends to become a tall structure. Now, managers shall exercise close supervision and they shall always play an impersonal rules. Procedures to manage individuals in the organization. Now, regarding the advantages and disadvantage of functional structure. The first advantage is that functional design, it has a very great advantage of clarity. Now, everybody shall be placed to their activities. They understand their own task, and because of this, the structure brings order and clarity in the organization. The next one is it brings economies of scale within the functions themselves. Now, it reduces any kind of duplication of work or wastage of work. That is to tell, the total floor space of the organization is shared by several products in a functional organization, which leads to economy of operation. The next one is specialization. Now, each department's manager shall be concerned with only one kind of work, and because of this, they can concentrate all their energies upon it within minimum diversion. Now, the specialization being built into the organization will always bring competitive advantage for the firm. The next one is coordination. Now, because of the departmentation by function, the coordination within the functions of the organization would be easy to handle, because centralized decision making shall always ensure unity of performance in the organization. The next one is in depth skill development. Now, functional structure also promotes skill development of employees. Now, the employees they shall be exposed to a range of functional activities within their departments, allowing them to to showcase their outstanding skills in every activities that they perform for the company. Now, regarding suitability, for what kind of, you know, or what type of business organization is functional structure suitable? Now, the functional type of organization is best suited for small to medium sized organization which produces one or two products where the dominant competitive issue and goals of the organization emphasize on functional specialization, efficiency, and also quality. Now, as the functional structure has advantage, it does some it does has some of the disadvantage also. Now, rather than telling disadvantage, we can also tell it as the weakness of functional structure. Now, first one is regarding the focus. Now, every manager in the organization shall be considering his own functions to be most important one and tries to develop a narrow dimension of the organization. Now there are chances that the manager they might become so enamored with their own specialty that there are chances that they might forget the organization's overall goals. And again, this functional specialization, there are chances that it might lead to very narrow, dull, and boring activities in the organization with the same routine technologies. Now, there are chances that functional structure also contributes to a short term perspective from the point of view of specialists. And the next one is poor decision making. Now, no one except the people who are at the top sees the entire picture of the business, and because of this, decisions they might be easily misunderstood and poorly executed. And the third one is subunit conflicts. Now, this is one of the major weakness of functional structure. Now, because this functional organization it balloons to a reasonable size, boundaries shall be larger between departments. Now, the structure turns out to be a Berlin Wall building. Now, coordination among departments might become tough exercise. Now, individually, no group is totally responsible for the performance of the organization, and as a result, tendencies like buck passing, sidetracking of issue, etc., might develop in the organization. Now, there are also chances that it can bring overlapping authority and divided responsibility to increase the confusion and chaos that might exist in the organization. And because of all this, the accountability of the employees might suffer heavily. Then we have problem with the managerial vacuum. Now under functional structure, it does not prepare people for tomorrow. For because of the reasons that it has no position in which functional head they can learn and prepare to handle complexities inherent in the chief executive's position. Now, in due course of time, a chronicle shortage of top manager generalists may be feeling this problem. But whatever it, in spite of all these limitations, weaknesses, or disadvantage, the functional structure is a highly popular structural form even in the current day. Now, the main reason is that it is highly compatible with the bureaucratic model, facilitating maintenance of power by the chief executive. Now, the very fact that only top managers have access to key information leaves a lot of room for manipulation in such type of organization. The next one that we have is departmentation by product. Now here the organization shall be divided on the basis of the different products it produces. Now once again the pictures that has been used, it is not necessary that you do it the same. Now you will have to know the meaning of it, and based on that you can draw a chart of your own. Now departmentation by product, it is also called as divisionalization. Now such kind of departmentation shall be adopted, in those business organization which produces multi product. Now the product structure is organized according to the output of the organization. Now the structure is divided into several independent units. Now each unit shall be relatively self-contained, and it shall be headed by a product manager who shall be responsible for the company's investment in capital, facilitates as well as the unit's progress. Now this divisionalization prevents some products from being neglected and others being overemphasized. Accountability shall be clear under divisionalization. Now, if the product fails, the division or the product manager is held responsible. Now, sometimes an organization may change its management structure. For example, to capitalize on the information processing, um, what happened in IBM during the 80s is it recognized its management structure, functional orientation, in which centralized manufacturing, marketing and product development served all products was replaced by product orientation and thereby placing function in product groups. Now such kind of division structure is quite popular in Indian companies. Now companies like Hindustan Lever Limited or ITC, Larsen and Turbo, Siemens, Thermax, they have been using this model quite successfully. Now when we tell division structure, It is grouping of positions into units according to the similarity of the products, or it can be according to the similarity of market also. Now there shall be a chief head of the organization or president, and his subordinate and his position shall be followed by vice president, that he could be vice president of production, and he shall be followed by the manager of automobiles, refrigerators and spare parts. Now if you wish to make it a little bit complex, then under president there can be vice president of production, vice president of marketing, vice president of sales, and below them each work. So what are the factors which before that, what are the features of product departmentation? Now it focuses on the result and performance. Now there shall be autonomous units. Now authority shall be in the hands of divisional head. Okay, once again, authority. Now product departmentation, sorry, let us see the first one. The product departmentation focuses on results and performance rather than on the means. Now the product structure shall be organized according to the organizational outputs. Now it also, the departmentation by product, it involves dismemberment of the, the same kind of functional organization into autonomous units. Now within each of these unit there lies another organizational form, and it is almost always of the functional type. The divisional heads shall be responsible for performance and holds complete strategic and operating decision making authority. Now the organization shall be split into product division, each of which is responsible for its own profit or loss. Now in addition to providing for a central headquarters, divisionalization also helps in promoting decentralization in a very useful way. Now it also helps a wide span of control at the top, which results to a flat organization structure, and most of the time it gives freedom to the top management to concentrate all their energy for important tasks. Now it is usually adopted by multi-product enterprise whose basic aim is to expand and diversify their products, which might have distinct manufacturing and also marketing features. So what could be the possible factors which might influence the choice between functional and product departmentation? Now that we have discussed two of the main type of organization structure. Now we can discuss regarding the influences. Now what might be the things in organization which would allow the company either to select a structure of functional basis or a structure of product basis, or as we said, it is departmentation, or is it has to be divisionalization. Now the first one is diversity of the product line. Now the more the diverse and changing the product line, the more the advantage of the product department. The less the product line, then it can be departmentation. Now, the interdependencies also plays an important role. Now, whenever there is a great need for coordination among production, engineering, and all other departments, the more product departments should the company have, or the company should be divided on the basis of departments. Then, regarding level of technology. Now, if at all the organization has a greater need for the specialized skills, then it is better that it should have higher degree of functionalization. Now, regarding the economies of scale. Now, product department is expensive, it is only suitable for large organization which are capable of handling the costs involved in creating product divisions. Now, regarding the innovative problem solving. Now, the product organization, it leads to better results in situation where the activities can be less predictable and requires innovative problem solving skills. Now, regarding divergent production and divergent marketing. Now, divisionalization may be appropriate if the diverse products are based on entirely different technologies and sold entirely different markets. Now, having discussed this both departmentation by function and departmentation by product, you should be able to mark differences among these two kinds of organization. Now, if we speak about functional structure, here organization is divided along functional lines, and under product structure organization is divided along under functional it is divided along functional lines. Under product it shall be divided along major product lines. Now, functional structure, it focuses on functional expertise and skills, and product structure, it focuses on the product development and also exploitation of the market opportunities for each of the product. Now, control and coordination is not easy to achieve under functional structure, whereas comparatively control and coordination shall be relatively easy for product structure. Functional structure is economical in nature, whereas comparatively product structure is expensive to create independent units for each of the product. Now, under functional structure, they cannot fix responsibility on any of the functional head. But then when it comes to product structure, it is easy to pinpoint responsibility on product. The next one is the functional structure, it tries to develop specialists, whereas the product structure, it develops and grooms generalists who can step into top management posts easily. Under functional structure there is very less autonomy. Under product structure divisional heads enjoy more freedom and autonomy. Now, functional structure, it is useful for all types of firms, whereas product structure, it is useful in case of diversified firms which are having a large product portfolio. So, what could be the possible merits of this departmentation by product? Now, the resource of one complete administrative unit, they shall be deployed on the one particular product. Now, all the activities for a single product or purpose are brought under one manager. Now it shall be easy to fix accountability, that is to tell who is responsible for either the success or the unsuccess. I mean, either the success or failure. Now, procedures and systems, it can be standardized, which leads to better integration across the different specialities in the organization. Now, integration is nothing but where you can achieve unity of effort among the various subsystems of the organization. Now, different units like maybe marketing, sales, engineering, finance, and personnel, they shall be dedicated to the interests of one or few related products. Now, all this increases emphasis on the product development and market exploitation. Now, further, autonomous units, they enable a manager to acquire a broad range of experience. The individual responsibility and interdependence forces him to face challenge and run an entire company with its frustrations and satisfactions. And thus, divisionalized form always helps as an excellent vehicle for training and development training and development of especially the managers. Now the managers, they will have full knowledge as to what they are doing and how they can direct themselves towards the performance of the whole organization instead of becoming prisoners of only their work. Now it also allows for a wide span of control. Wide span of control in focuses the vision and efforts of managers directly on business. The divisions have the responsiveness, the accountability, and the benefits of specialization and are able to process information as if they were organizations unto themselves. Now, unprofitable lines shall not be allowed to be carried on the backs of the profitable ones. Whereas under functional, you can never know which product is better off compared to other. The next one is regarding the limitation. Now, divisionalization, it tends to create additional departments and division which might lead to duplication of effort. Definitely, the overhead cost of each product divisions shall be quite enormous. Now, there shall be little incentive to promote cooperation among divisions. Now, conflicts usually can be seen as divisions and headquarters, they might argue about the ideal location of supportive services, and often it is difficult to draw a clear distinction between different units and settle the priorities. Now a tremendous amount of managerial time and energy shall be wasted on adjusting maybe the disputes between division as to allocation of scarce resources. Now, the smallest adjustment between departments might become a trial of strength or matter of prestige and honor for each of the managers. There might exist rivalry and territorial protectionism by individual divisions, and it can make coordination by headquarters extremely difficult. Now, further, the autonomy of divisional manager is exercised within limits, and this can breed resentment as divisional heads might feel that authority is adequate to meet the challenges. So, this is all regarding departmentation by product. Then we can discuss regarding departmentation by territory or geographical division. Now, the basic two I have said the benefits, the features, the factors which might influence each, the advantage and the disadvantage. The rest, let us know the meaning, and probably you can come up with your own explanation regarding the features, benefits or merits and disadvantages for each of this. Now, under geographical departmentation, it can also be known as departmentation by territory. Now, it facilitates or helps in the adaptation to territorial differences. Now, usually, if you have observed, the large companies which distributes products on a massive scale, maybe nationwide, they often cannot coordinate all the regions from their one single headquarters. So, each region of the country shall be having distinct needs and they shall be having their own taste and facilitates the demand coordination. So, geographical departments, it helps in exploiting the local advantage, and the decisions regarding product design, the pricing and marketing, it may be left to the discretion of the excuse me, territorial managers who are close to customers and who are able to know the needs of the customers in a better way. Now, territorial departmentation, it usually reduces transportation costs and also provides an excellent opportunity to build a goodwill. Now, if you see in the PPT that has been displayed, there shall be president, vice president of marketing, then the work again shall be divided into manager of east zone, west zone, south zone and north zone. Now, the one best example which we can give here is of the service, which is of Life Insurance Corporation of India. You might have seen the board of the company where they have would be written south zone, north zone, or as such they might have mentioned. Or in some of the products, if you have seen there also will be some of the questions regard some of the places mentioned as to where the particular product has been manufactured. So, such companies also will be divided on the basis of geographical division. Now, even this departmentation by territory will be having no, it is having both its strength and it does has its own weaknesses. Now, we shall see it in a very brief way. So, this territorial department, it usually helps the local manager to cater the needs of the local customers closely and also helps them serve better. Now, under this kind of departmentation, it is easy to pinpoint responsibility on the zonal centers. Now, it results also in saving in the freight, rent and labor costs. Now, economies of localized operations shall also be available. Now, business expansion across various region is also possible. Now, each regional head, they can focus attention on a region in a exclusive manner, and would be able to gain considerable experience in handling the peculiar problems of local unit independently. On the negative side, geographical distances, they might give rise to the problem of communication, coordination and control, especially between the head office and the other branches of the organization. Definitely there shall be duplication of physical facility, which may increase the cost of operation, and it might also cause friction between local managers, who most of the times are not able to show equally good results. Now, people with general management capacities may not be readily available to run regional centers in a very competent way. So, this is in brief regarding departmentation by territory. Next, we have departmentation by customer. Now, on the basis of customer, there should be separate departments would be created to serve the needs of particular customer. Such an organization usually helps manager to satisfy the customer requirements more conveniently and also in a successful way. Now, such type of department can be seen in things like banking or book publishing, and also in food industry or even clothing industry. We might observe this. Now, departmentation by structure you can see in the flow chart that has been given, where on the basis of the retail customer, wholesale customer and foreign customers, they might be divided into groups. Now, speaking regarding the strengths and weaknesses, now under this departmentation by customer, special attention can be paid to the unique needs of each class of customer. Now, customized products can be offered, and it is also easy to build rapport with customer very easily. And also we can tell that customer loyalty can improve in the course of time, and also it might result in increased sales. But on the negative side, this departmentation by customer suffers from few of the things, like it is almost impossible to consider all of the customer, their interest, their habits and customs. On an average way we can do it, but not exactly. Now, this also brings in the problem of coordination, maybe between sales personnel and production people. Now, there are also chances that the company might divide the rich first class customer from the poor and second class customer. They might only cater the need of the former than the other. Now, it might also lead to duplication of effort and thereby increase the overhead cost of the organization. Then we have departmentation by process or equipment. Now, under departmentation by process or equipment, here the activities shall be grouped on the basis of various manufacturing processes. Now, similar type of labor and equipment shall be brought together It permits, intensive and economical usage of costly equipment. Now it could be, you know, divided on the basis of drilling, grinding, welding, assembling, finishing. Now, speaking about the strength and weakness, when you do departmentation by process, it is useful when the organization shall be having machines or equipment which are necessary to, require special operating skills. Now, it is best suited to manufacturing companies whose activities can be clearly grouped into various processes. Maybe like a automobile company. Now this kind of structure usually enables an organization to take the benefits of specialization and also the optimum maintenance of both the equipment and also the resources. But on the negative side, departmentation by process will always make coordination of various functions and products difficult. Now, there are chances that conflicts may arise between different managers working at various levels quite frequently. Now, where the manufacturing activity cannot be divided into distinct process, this structure definitely cannot be used. Then we can have the departmentation by time. Now, when we speak of departmentation by time, in some organization which work round the clock, like maybe public utilities, railway, post and telegraph, or hospital, or call center, departmentation can be made on the basis of time. Now we might have often noticed the doctors, nurse, and even the railway employees changing shifts on the basis of day, evening, and night. And nowadays it is present in most of the IT sectors. Now on the one of the basic advantage of departmentation by time is that it makes manpower utilization efficiently. Now the primary disadvantage of departmentation by time is that workers they may ignore the entire total system view of organization. Rather they can concentrate on the narrow specified and technical aspects of organization. Now, departmentation by time is highly convenient and applied in public utilities. Now, the next one okay. The next one can be departmentation by the marketing channel. So what happens here is under such form, the same product is marketed through two or four more different channels. Now unless like our departmentation by customer or by departmentation. Now each channel may ultimately sell to the same customers. Under this, major departments are organized around each of the firm's marketing channel to meet the unique and diverse channel demands. Then we might also have composite or combined departmentation. Now here under to satisfy the requirements of different situations, managers they favor a kind of mixed department. That is to tell, functional departmentation is preferred at the top level. Marketing activities are split on the basis of products that are offered for sale, and sales function may be further split on the basis of territory or customer. So this can be regarded as a hybrid structure. and thus it combines the aspects of both functional and divisional form, with some jobs grouped into departments by function and other grouped by products or markets. Now, to tell regarding this hybrid structure, the hybrid structure, it combines aspects of both the function and divisional form. Now, with some jobs grouped into department by function and other grouped by products or markets. Now, how can we choose, or what is the basis for departmentation? So, the patterns of departmentation, it usually suggested by the classical writers. Now, it emphasizes the dominant characteristics of division or department. Now, what has to be included in particular department is ultimately a product of managerial decision making. So, in view of this problem, usually an executive cannot settle his departmentation questions by, casting a vote for any one typical pattern that we discussed. Now, there is no ideal pattern to suit all the occasions and situations. The manager, they should take into consideration the peculiar circumstance of their organization, and additionally they might look into factors such as to take advantage of specialization, or to facilitate control, or to aid in coordination, or secure adequate attention for each of the department. They'll have to recognize the local condition, and also they have to try to reduce expenses also. Now, for large multi-product enterprise, the traditional structure that we discussed up until this point would be maybe inadequate to ensure a responsible flexibility and utilization of the internal talents and expertise across the different function and divisions. New forms of organization shall be in favored, like nowadays we have project matrix networks, and some other new forms which we shall discuss in our next class. For the day we shall wind it up here. I hope whatever we discussed you have understood that, and